As I've been getting more serious about video production in the last several months, I've realized how big of a difference lenses can make. The type of lens used can change the entire look and feeling of a scene. Just like camera lenses, each of us perceives reality through a unique perspective. These thoughts led me to think about how I perceive San Francisco through my own lens. I've been in San Francisco for a while now. I think when I initially chose to move here, I was pursuing a dream. I saw myself at my first job, finally being independent, living in a community with similar people. I imagined the amazing food and all the adventures I'd go on. I initially thought that this would be a great place for me to live. As I've been here though, I've been forced to face the harsh reality of how things really are. In this video, I want to share my perspective on San Francisco. To help you understand my perspective, let me share a brief background. I started my first job in mid-2020, right when the pandemic started getting bad in the United States. My company, like many others, went all remote. I was supposed to move to San Francisco, but ended up staying in Utah with family. Eventually, the stress of the pandemic, the fear of catching the virus led me to fear being around other people. I decided to make a somewhat drastic decision. I decided to go back to Hong Kong and ride out the pandemic for as long as possible. COVID cases were almost non-existent there. Any outbreaks that popped up were quickly quarantined and stamped out. Ultimately, Hong Kong was my safe haven. So instead of San Francisco, I packed up a handful of belongings and went to Hong Kong, not really even knowing when I would return. I spent nearly a year there. I went to Hong Kong knowing only my family and a handful of acquaintances. In the first few months, what started with one new friend quickly grew into a large group of friends. I discovered new hobbies, found new foods, and explored the city like never before. Not only this, I kept my US work hours, and while working graveyard shift might not seem that enjoyable, I actually really enjoyed it. I was able to spend my normal waking hours of the day doing as I pleased, not burdened down by work. I think for the first time, I truly discovered who I was as a person and what I wanted out of life. Overall, life in Hong Kong was amazing. I was in a place where I truly felt like I belonged. To me, life was perfect, almost like a dream. Eventually, though, I had to wake up. Some unavoidable obligations came calling, and my wife and I had to return to the United States. Due to an unknowable future of working remote or in office, we kind of had to move to San Francisco. Our lives in San Francisco are much different than they were in Hong Kong. The initial dream I had back in 2019 about living in San Francisco turned out to be less appealing once we got settled in and the newness of everything wore off. Eventually, the things that initially drew me to San Francisco lost their appeal. The pandemic continued to rage on in America, and my fear of the disease and my fear of interacting with others and being part of society returned. I found that my life in San Francisco isn't at all what I hoped it would be. I think many people have a certain expectation of this place. They see the San Francisco of the movies, in popular culture, they read about it on the news, and many people have this amazing idea that San Francisco is this amazing city where everyone is accepted. Now don't get me wrong, there are many people who love San Francisco, and I'm sure there is much to love about this city. But from my point of view, I found that compared to what I experienced in Hong Kong, San Francisco is a rather dull and dangerous place. During the time I've been here, I've witnessed smash and grabs, people getting robbed, mass lootings of convenience stores, and random fights breaking out on the street. When I lived in Nob Hill during our internship, I heard yelling outside our apartment almost every night. Someone even tried to unlock our door by swiping their credit card around the locks. I saw an Asian man get his phone stolen right out of his hands. I've seen drug deals happening on the street right in front of police. To say the city is chaotic, in my opinion, is an understatement. Crime rates and homelessness have been on the rise in San Francisco, and it's ultimately because the city's elected leaders have allowed it to happen. The people that are perpetrating these crimes are not being punished in such a way that it reduces the chance of them committing the crime again. These people know that they can go into a CVS or Walgreens and steal things up to $950 without being arrested. The city has basically legalized theft. Aside from all the crime, the cost of living has soared, especially with the increase in inflation in the past year. With my rent, utilities, and food and other general expenses, it costs me an average of $126 per day to live in San Francisco. I wouldn't have a problem paying this much if the quality of life was higher. Hong Kong is expensive. Shanghai is expensive. Singapore is expensive. But at the very least, in those cities you can have peace of mind. Instead, what am I paying for? I'm paying to see people fighting on the streets, the mentally insane yelling randomness at invisible people. I'm paying to be called derogatory and racist terms while I walk down the street. I'm paying for the risk of being hit by stray bullets, as multiple shootings have occurred in my area in only the last few weeks. My greatest fear is that, at the very worst, I'd be paying for all of this with my life. The only question that remains in my mind is, where do I go? A survey by Time Out recently placed San Francisco as the top city to live in. If this is truly the best city to live in right now, then in my opinion, this shows what a sad condition we are in. If this is my best option, at least in the US, then well, if not San Francisco, then where? At this point in time, I'm just waiting for the right opportunity. It might not happen for a year or two, but I know the opportunity will come. Right now, the reality in my mind is not the reality I'm currently in. Even though I'm physically in San Francisco, I find that my mind continues to dwell in Hong Kong. In my dreams, I once again wander Hong Kong's endless maze of concrete and glass towers. I see myself in a tall apartment building with a magnificent ocean view. I see myself in a state of happiness with a peace of mind. To my home abroad, I say, have patience, for imagination is the very gateway to reality.